Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Well, we often hear that we, Black Americans, are the bottom caste. We are the bottom caste, and that everybody who comes to the United States of America sees us as the bottom caste. Well, I'm here to tell you that Black Americans broke the bottom caste narrative. And that's what this video is going to be about, how Black Americans broke the caste narrative. Before I start this video, there is something that I want to say. I get sick and tired of seeing young Black Americans coming on these social media platforms whining because they say Africans don't like us. They don't like us. After all we've been through, after all that's been sacrificed, after Black Americans opened the door for them to be able to flee their homelands and come here and make a better way of life for themselves, and then they come here with their noses in the air, showing no gratitude and really no class, and you're going to get upset because they don't like you, you need to grow a damn spine. Now let's get into this video. Black Americans are not a bottom caste. We were assigned that position by a system we never believed in, never internalized, and never accepted. And the tension between how we see ourselves and how the system labels us is the core of our experience in this country. Today, I want to break down why so many groups feel comfortable punching down at Black Americans, why the jokes always seem to land on us, and why none of that has anything to do with who we actually are. I listen to Jason Black quite a bit. And one thing that he says is that we come from a culture of resistance. And that's true. We have resisted everything that people have said about us that we didn't accept or that we didn't believe. Black Americans were designated the bottom caste on paper, in law, and in policy. But culturally, spiritually, and psychologically, we never accepted it. We never saw ourselves as inferior. We never lived like we were beneath anyone. That's why navigating this country feels strange. We're treated as something we have never been. We have always stood on our own dignity, regardless to what anybody said about us. And one of the extraordinary things about us in America is that we built identity, not reaction to our experience. Our culture wasn't built in response to oppression, it was built in spite of it. And the world copies it because it's authentic. Black Americans created the most influential music on earth, the blueprint for modern civil rights, the cultural language of the United States, and the political frameworks that reshaped democracy. That is not the behavior of a bottom caste. That is the behavior of a foundational people. One thing that Black content creators are noticing, and that is that all of these immigrant groups to the United States are surprised, shocked, and dismayed over the fact that we cannot be legally deported from the United States, and they can. So there was this Asian guy that I saw on TikTok trying to make a video about Black people not being deported. And he said something to the effect of, and they're trying to fight crime, as if to say, If they really wanted to fight crime, they would deport Black Americans. And naturally, there was an audience of non Black people, white people, laughing about it. And that got me thinking, why do comedians and other groups punch down on Black Americans? But the answer is really quite simple. They have bought into the idea that we are bottom caste. They don't care if they're not the top caste. They just don't want to be the bottom caste. So when you see a comedian from any background, and this one was Asian, when you see a comedian reach for a joke about Black Americans, it's not because the joke is funny or clever, but it is safe. Mocking Black Americans is the only joke that historically comes with no consequences. Mocking white people is risky. Mocking your own community, if you're Asian or Latino or Indian, brings backlash. But mocking Black Americans, the system has normalized that for generations because everybody has bought into the lie that Black Americans are the bottom caste. So, him making a joke like that about Black Americans confirmed the worldview of his audience. If somebody really believes stereotypes, even subconsciously, the joke feels familiar. Some people laugh because they agree. Some of those people sit up there laughing because they agreed with him. We should be deported. Some of them laugh because they don't want to be the next target. And some people laugh because the joke reinforces the hierarchy they're comfortable with. That's not comedy, though. It's just signaling that we are on the same accord when it comes to Black Americans. Now, why aren't Africans and Caribbeans included in this punching down on Black Americans? Because normally it's about Black Americans. We are in the, we are in the crosshairs. So when they're doing jokes like this in the United States of America, it's not about global Blackness. It's about Black Americans specifically, the group this country built its racial mythology around. Most non Black people don't have stereotypes about Ghanaians, Jamaicans, Haitians, or Nigerians. They don't know the cultures, the histories, the distinctions. But stereotypes about Black Americans, those were manufactured, exported, and repeated for centuries here in this country and transported around the world. So when people reach for a Black joke, they're not thinking about the diaspora. They're thinking about the caricature the United States created of us. Somebody else created a persona of us, a caricature of us, but we rejected it. We were able to see through the contradiction. If you truly feel superior to me, you don't need to punch down. You don't need to make jokes about me. You don't need to have me on your mind all the time if you truly feel superior. So the punching down is to try to reinforce the idea that I'm higher up than you are. And all these other groups of people just try to leech on and latch on to that so that they don't have to be considered the bottom caste. But what we have been able to do as Black Americans, we have been able to transcend all of the garbage that has been thrown at us, including slavery and Jim Crow and discrimination and oppression. We've been able to transcend all of that, and we've been able to do it through psychological, emotional, and moral intelligence. We walk through a world that misreads us. The system treats us as a bottom caste, but our culture, our confidence, and our contributions never matched that designation. That's why the jokes don't land. That's why the stereotypes don't stick. That's why the hierarchy feels threatened. We don't feel inferior. We never have because we never were. So the truth about who we are is that Black Americans are proud, dignified, foundational people. We transform this country from the inside. We reshape the laws, the culture, the identity, and the moral compass of the United States of America. We are not a bottom caste. We are the people who force this nation to live up to its own ideals. And that's why the jokes keep coming. Not because we're weak, but because we are central to this empire. People don't get us. They don't understand us because we are unique. Any other group of people who would have been through what we have been through in America would have been broken. We are not broken. We are still strong. We stand strong. We stand in our own truth, and we are not afraid. Everybody else is running. They're running from what's theirs to what's somebody else's. Now we have a whole thing going on about Africans mad because Black Americans are having to tell them that Black History Month is about the achievements of Black Americans. And they're trying to say that Carter G. Woodson meant all Black people. He specifically said he was archiving the achievements of Black Americans. In other words, what he said was Negroes. He wasn't documenting the history of all of the Black people in the world. It would have been too exhaustive. It would have been too much. He only focused on his own lineage. And that seems to be the hardest thing for people to understand, to the point that people are just having a meltdown over there on TikTok because Black Americans are telling them Black History Month is about Black Americans. You have your own month in September or whatever month they've got, but they want, because they can't stand on their own. But even as arrogant as they are, they still want to latch on to what Black Americans are doing. But we are a unique people. We are not a bottom caste. We are foundational to the United States of America. We know it, and the white Americans know it too. So the next time somebody tries to punch down, just remember they're not revealing anything about Black Americans. They're revealing their dependence on a hierarchy that we never believed in, because we never believed anybody was superior to us in the first place. We are not bottom caste. We never were, and we never will be. Okay, y'all, let me know what you think about the video. Thank you for listening. Stay warm out there and have a great evening.